Much, Chair. My first question is, can the Premier just explain to us a little bit more and give a little bit more clarity on that, if I heard correct and understand correctly, that you said that the SIU is now registered as a service provider, and how does that process work? What does it implicate? Then on this whole problem of corruption, which I agree that has to be addressed, and with a focus on transparency and communication, that's also mentioned. As the Premier and the MEC on Cogta and finances, would you agree that maybe it's time that we look into the fact that we should have tender meetings open to the public, if that would maybe contribute to a deduction in corruption? And then I would like to know the crime strategy that has been, what is the, when was it implemented, this whole, the crime strategy that you referred to between the province and the municipalities under SAPS? And is there any successes that at this stage that you can see, for example, a reduction in serious crimes? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Just quickly to the Premier, you spoke about the dolomitic areas, especially in Merafong. Now, that's not a problem that's overnight or a year or 2 years old. What has your administration done in the many years of those sinkholes in the making, especially when it comes to zamazamas? Then just on service delivery and infrastructure, the water crisis in major cities, and I'm specifically talking about Johannesburg, that is now sitting in front of us. You know, some of these outages lasts up to 86 hours, impacting on critical services, including hospitals and even the Constitutional Court. There was a tweet last year, October, Premier, where you said that water is not your problem. I wanted to find out if you still hold that view, because the water is actually under your, the water when it comes to the leaks, the massive leaks that Johannesburg is, that is a municipal function. Infrastructure of water pipes is a municipal function. Do you still hold the view that the water crisis is not your responsibility as Premier? Then, given that only a small fraction of municipalities achieve clean audits, what reforms is your administration enacting to hold officials accountable for irregular and fruitless and wasteful expenditure? In fact, if there's a list of anyone that has undergone consequence management, because that's a big issue as well. Then just quickly on municipal officials and councillors owing roughly about 182 million rand in unpaid municipal accounts. We know, MEC of Finance, that, you know, councillors and officials are not allowed to owe past 90 days in their rates and taxes to the municipality, but you find that there's many of them. What have you done to try and get municipalities to adhere to that and get that back on? And then with municipal debt to Eskom growing at 15 billion rand annually, what concrete measures will the province implement to ensure municipalities pay their dues and safeguard South Africa's power supply? Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much, Chair. A question to the Premier. Premier, you made a lot about your fighting of crime in Gauteng. And I just think of what happened in Lillian and Ngoyi Street, with the fact that it blew up because of zamazamas working under the street. And the fact that there are rumors that these guys have been mining around the foundations of the city, some of the large buildings in the city of Johannesburg, which potentially does make buildings unstable. You might even find the Gauteng provincial legislature collapsing if there are zamazamas under there as well. But what I'm saying to you is, how sure are we that there's not going to be further disasters in Johannesburg because of zamazamas? What are you doing, and what are your law enforcement capabilities in protecting the residents of Johannesburg from catastrophic events like what happened at Lillian and Ngoyi Street? So I think that really is a direct failure of government. And we certainly wouldn't want to see a repeat of that or a large building collapse in Johannesburg. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks, Chair. Just two questions from my side. One, Premier, a number of your municipalities are struggling to pay key creditors like Eskom and Rainwater within the legislated timelines. And when these debts are not paid on time, communities are left without basic services like water and electricity. So what is it that you are doing in that regard to assist those municipalities? Secondly, MEC for Finance, the HGSA has raised the issue of over-reliance on consultants on matters of financial reporting in municipality as one of the challenges that in Gauteng, the cost for financial reporting consultant increased from 57.15 million rands in 22-23 to about 70.13 million rands in 23-24. So what are you doing to build internal capacity in municipalities to reduce the issue of over-reliance on consultant with regards to issues of financial reporting? Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Before we proceed, may I just announce this? We're not going to do a tea break. We're going to have each individual who wish to refresh, go up there, go to the door on my extreme right, and then you'll see a way into the tea area. So we will just proceed. For those who haven't been with us, these members here ruled and decided there shall be no tea break. There shall just be work break. Please proceed.
Premier, let me start by welcoming the establishment of the task team on killings. We must protect councillors, officials and community leaders who are being targeted. Also welcome your prioritization of fighting crime, particularly kidnappings, cash in transit bombings and other organized crime. Where I come from in Buffalo City, we see between 2 and 4 kidnappings a week, not to mention cash in transit. And we have found that there's a link between Gauteng and the Eastern Cape. So on your Premier's forum, we would like you to maybe extend what you are doing here to the Eastern Cape. Premier, also welcome the re-establishment of the intergovernmental relations structures. However, it must be noted that these structures have been in place since 2005 under the intergovernmental relations framework. Premier, we would want to know what assurances do you have that they will now function effectively to improve municipal oversight and service delivery. Second, lastly, Chair, the SIU reported to our Standing Committee on Public Accounts that they do not receive feedback from certain metros after their investigations. Premier, we would like you to follow up specifically. It's in the Gauteng metros that they have not come back to them. The last question is that 97 state-owned properties were identified as occupied by government officials and only 33 with electricity prepaid and 1 water meter, and that is the municipalities in Gauteng. What is Public Works going to be doing with regards to that and the follow-up? Thank you very much.
Last one.
Thank you, Chair. You know, we're going to hear a lot of horror movies here today, like we've had at Scopa in our meetings. And Chair, you've been in the Free State, you've been in the Northwest. Same thing is going to happen here today. And it's unfortunate that the ever hard-working Premier is finding himself in this mud. You know, I'll give you an example, you know, in terms of what the MEC has said about the open tender system and public participation. It's a PR stand, I can tell you now. We received letters from different business people. One, The open tender system which was done at Galaga Estate, where the people from, your scholar transport, your school nutrition program, those matters are in court as we speak. Some people who were away the tenders, the MEC, have no warehouses. They don't have a warehouse at all. And the bid specification is very clear about that. Now, we are, as my colleague has already said, the officials are corrupt to the core. And some of them are black professionals, highly qualified, but they are letting us down. I'll leave that for the city of Johannesburg. Chair, my last point is, those who knows Colosseum, those who knows Razzmatazz, those who knows Johannesburg, this is not Johannesburg anymore. That, what we are talking about, that street is been paved for 192 million. But that will come later. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Let's get the comments, the responses. Please proceed, Premier.
Thank you so much, Chair. Let me start with the first question on the SIU. Yes, the SIU is our service provider. We have a service level agreement. We didn't want to duplicate. They've got the capabilities, the capacity to trace money, forensic. They've got all those systems. So we can't duplicate them, and they've got the systems. So we've entered into a formal agreement with them, service agreement with them. When we need a forensic work, we assign them, they do that, they invoice us, we pay them. They're a government institution, by the way. So it's not like a service provider where you need to take quotations and a tender. No. They're a government institution. For example, if you have to vet somebody from Home Affairs, they're a service provider, they offer that service to us. So, yes, SIU are the only provincial government, I think, that have made and entered that, and it has assisted us. There are lots of, as I said, wait in the next few weeks, they will be releasing a report about Tembisa Hospital. It's out of that agreement that they managed to know that there are problems at Tembisa Hospital. And we have also assigned them to investigate the hospital that went over the normal amount that we've allocated. They investigated that. And when they have made their investigation and we need proclamation from the president, it becomes easier.
Negatively
you can see the number of proclamations that Gauteng has got from the president is because of out of this partnership. So to us, it's a very, very important partnership because of their capacity, their resources. Even our lifestyle audits are done by SIU as part of that agreement. And because they're an arm of the state, they can track bank accounts, trusts of people, the cars people have bought. So they're indeed a service provider, and we've got a full service level agreement with them on these issues. All matters about the open tender, I'll leave it to MEC Maile to deal with this thing. The crime strategy that I think is almost, when did you sign the formal agreement, MEC Mamabulo? April. It started in April this year, where all councils passed that we're pulling our resources together. I mean, you can't have a small city, for example, Morafong, expect that it can deal with Zamazamas. But if you bring Tshwane, Ekurhuleni, Johannesburg into Morafong to fight Zamazamas, you have capacity, you've got resources. And that's the reason why we believe this. And it has assisted us a lot. I mean, we've recovered so many things. The list from drug lords, as I said in my opening remarks, that 1,070 people that were wanted in Gauteng, we managed to arrest them through this process. So it has really given us good results. And it's not me to say that, which is something that is unfortunate. Other people don't want to acknowledge that. The only province that has reduced crime is Gauteng, drastically. Check the last quarter report from the Minister of Police, 7.9% reduction in crime in Gauteng. There are two areas that are stubborn, that have continued to increase. It's kidnappings and sexual-related offenses. That's where we are putting up our energy. But overall, reduction in crime, it's 7.9. So we can see we have made a huge dent, still not enough on my standard if you take the number of criminal activities that we have. We identified almost 450, we reduced it to 250, people that are causing crime in Gauteng. What we said about these people is that we are not going to wait for them to commit crime. We know they've avoided their bail. We know they are wanted by other provinces. We know they are hiding in our province, and we know the things that they've been accused. They've been released in court because of technicalities. We've profiled 250 of them, and through partnership with the private sector, the private security companies, forensics and technology-related companies, we are tracking these criminals. Of the 250, 118 have been arrested. And unfortunately, 18 of them have been reconnected with their creator up there. So that's the concerted efforts that we are putting to fight crime in our province, the strategies and the programs that we have. We are quite aware yesterday, a top kingpin was tracked and killed on the R21. Last month, 5 cash heist people were killed here in Nazareth because of the tracking system and the support that we've given to the police. We are the only province that have given police 3 helicopters. 3. This province didn't have a helicopter, or SAPS didn't have a helicopter. We as the provincial government have donated 3 helicopters to the police. So we have, you know, if we can't in this province, forget the province. And that is why we are putting all these resources to assist us. And I'll come to the issue of the Zamazamas and other things. I'm glad to have raised the issue of the Dolomatic because that's a frustration that we have. And this matter has been there for quite some time. I think in the last 7 years, as this government, when I joined this government, we have been writing letters to relevant authorities. Because disasters are managed at national level, especially key disasters at that proportion. An exchange of letters, meetings, I don't know how many community meetings we have addressed there, how many people have relocated. So I've been working very hard to avoid this thing of the Dolomite. But the state and the nature of it is unprecedented. It's not only because of Zamazamas, because that was a mining area. Those that have mined and took our diamonds and golds and left this country with our resources, they've left us with a problem. They're enjoying our money wherever they are. We have to deal with their problem. So it's not about government alone. And I can see your attitude to think that is a government problem. It's not a government problem. It's a mining problem. And those mines were supported by an apartheid system, protected, just to loot and take resources of our country and leave us with the problem that we have. And that's why this matter is the way it is. Honorable Chair, it's very unfortunate that I'll be asked whether the provincial government have to provide water. Very, very unfortunate. It's a constitutional mandate, and a member of this legislature, of this parliament, is saying provincial government still believe that you need to provide water. What we have done, we have coordinated activities to ensure that municipalities provide water. It's not a constitutional mandate of government, of provincial government. It's clear it's there, unless I've missed something that needs to be attended to. So what we've done, Chair, with water, we've now finally agreed to a special purpose vehicle between Randwater and Fuleni, which is going to assist that municipality to provide water. We have established a war room that meets on Sundays with the national minister, including all municipalities, to attend to deal with the issue of water. 3 weeks ago, with the president, we've opened a new purification plant here that will provide water. We've gone on a massive infrastructure because the infrastructure of water in our province is aging. It has been established in the 1880s. It's getting old. So we went on a massive infrastructure improvement with our municipalities. And on the basis of that, we are ready to receive water from the Lesotho Highlands. Government have put a huge investment. That water will come through here. But I can tell you, honorable members, we don't have a problem or shortage of water. We have a problem of three things: non-payment, illegal connection, and aging infrastructure. If we sort out the three, the challenges of water in our province will be resolved. And we are hard at work to deal with this. Fortunately, we've got a state-owned enterprise called Rent Water that is doing exceptionally well. So it's assisting us to unlock and unblock some of these challenges so that we don't have a problem of water. But with the national minister and the deputy minister, we are meeting literally quarterly or monthly to attend to water issues in our province, because we've prioritized it as one area that need. I suspect the municipality will respond on the issue of Lillian and Ngoi. I've indicated I was not invited at the opening, so I don't know how it is, but I think that here there was. But to assume that it was due to Zamazamas, I think there's a wrong diagnostic. I was part of the team that brought all the experts to determine what caused that explosion. And it was finally indicated that it's not Zamazamas. So then to blame them, I think it's not a correct approach. Obviously, we should be worried that there are Zamazamas that are doing wrong things. I had the honor to request the president to give us a certain number of soldiers. Those soldiers were brought here, and they've done the work. We want them to continue, so we'll continue to request the president to give us those so that we can finish these problems of Zamazamas in our province. It's a serious problem that I would request members not to politicize it. It's a very, very serious matter, this thing of Zamazamas. Thanks, Chair of SCOPA. I think I'll leave majority of the issues that we've raised with MEC Maile. Sorry, SCOPA member, sorry. The task team on killings, indeed, kidnappings, murder, especially within the taxi industry, and people that are contracted, they call them inkabi, that they're contracted to come and kill people in our province. We are now happy that finally, because this is not a mandate of the province as well, this policing thing. So we're happy that now the National Commission of Police have agreed to our process. And I'm glad that we've raised the importance of the Premier's Forum for coordinating and dealing with other matters that are common across all programs. Honorable Member, the issue of IGR, and that's the reason why we say, coalition governments are really created serious setbacks where we're working together. The IGR that we're activating here now, that the reports that we're giving here, there were municipalities that were run by other political parties that didn't want to participate in IGR. If there's one municipality that I want to praise, regardless of changes or regardless of who they are, they participate in IGR, is Midval. Even though they are led by another political party. But when the same political party was leading Tshwane and the same political party was leading Johannesburg, they did it in Ekurhuleni. They didn't want to be part of IGR. They wanted to plan alone, execute their attempts at the things alone. And it created serious problems. There's one mayor that was a mayor of Tshwane. I've never been in a meeting with him as a premier. He declined my meetings, he didn't come to IGR, he didn't participate in budgeting of the province. So what you see now as reorganization is thanks to the new leadership that are running these municipalities. And that's how we appreciate the importance of IGR, and we're protecting it to where we are now. And hopefully it will assist us to deal with other issues.
Let's round up, Premier.
I've just rounded up, Chair.
You just did?
Yes.
On time?
Yes.
Thank you. Please proceed. You've got just 2 minutes on your side.
No, thanks. Firstly, I must dispute the allegations that Honorable Member Skhosana is making. They are not true, they are false. That the open tender, it's a public stand. We are not populists, so we don't run government through populism. Let me explain, Honorable Chair. The open tender, however, it doesn't mean that it's perfect. So I must indicate that it doesn't mean that it's perfect. It's not perfect. So to allege that it's a public stand, I think it's unfounded. So what we are doing, the honorable member was saying, shouldn't meetings, tender meetings be open to the public? In fact, that's what that open tender system is. What happens is that before we approve specifications, we appoint an independent auditing firm. That's the first thing we do. They look at the specifications, and then we advertise. After advertising, we receive documents, and those documents are then verified by the probity auditor. And then the BEC, which is a bid evaluation committee, sits and look at the processes, and that process is done in public. But it doesn't mean that it's perfect. And that's why when I spoke earlier on, I said we've went further to digitize tendering system, because we are not populists. We went further to digitize, and I said there's 5 departments, and I deliberately mentioned them and started with the Premier's office and Treasury, because we want to set the example that we are not playing about this thing. And I even said next year we're looking at implementing it in all departments. You know, to digitize, it means that there will be no paper that is going to exchange hands between individuals. It means people will not be able to interfere, because the system will be able to deal with things like compliance documents and all that. I don't know who else does it in the whole world. No one does it. We are saying we are going to do it. It can't be populist. It can't be populist. So if the honorable member says the system has got weaknesses, the system is not perfect, we will take that like any other system. But to say it's populist, I think personally I take exception, because I'm not a populist, at least as a person. So we will not agree to that. On the officials who are not paying, Chair, as I round up in the municipalities, I've written a letter to the mayors to ask them to monitor that. But I've also asked Treasury officials to look at the legality of imposing the same on all provincial government officials, including ourselves as public representatives. Because if we're in the public service, we can't owe municipalities. So we're looking at the legality of that. That's how serious we are about it. The issue of debt to ESCOM, we are working with municipalities, but as I've said earlier on, the issue of revenue collection, I think is at the center of that. We have had a revenue workshop with the municipalities to help them deal with the issues of revenue. And yeah, those are the issues. And then on the consultants, you know, Chair, I want to preface my answer by saying that the Constitution of the Republic places the executive and legislative authority of a municipality on the council, not on the provincial government. And then it goes further to talk about cooperative governance. It goes further to talk about oversight, the role that we must play, and support. I spoke about the 154. And
are you responding on the issue of consultants?
Yes.
I think we are getting the wrong way. Finish, let me hear.
Okay. So what I want to say to the honorable member is that we are having programs to help, because the question was that what are we doing to build capacity in the municipalities? So I'm giving you a context to say whatever that we are doing should be within the constitutional context, so that we also don't seem to be interfering. So we are also training municipal officials. We are training even councillors. We are also training on MPEC and all that. So to the best of our abilities and within the powers that we have, we are playing our role. That's the point I wanted to raise, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. We'll accept that. Thank you very much. So we move on to...
Sure, I would be honored.